Have you ever stopped to think why some people with diabetes can maintain their vision intact, while others end up completely losing their ability to see, even when eating the same foods? The answer may surprise you. It's not just about blood sugar levels. There's a much simpler factor, and surprisingly, 87% of diabetics don't even realize it exists. Today, I'm going to reveal 3 foods that can be true shields for your vision, and another that, perhaps right now, is silently destroying your eyes. And the worst part? It's quite possible you ate it for breakfast, thinking you were making a healthy choice. Hello, I'm Dr. Ana Laura, and after more than 30 years of caring for diabetic patients, I've seen many people lose their vision in completely preventable ways. It was through observing these stories that I discovered something that changed everything. One of my patients, Maria, a 67-year-old grandmother from Texas, was able to reverse her eye pressure and regain about 40% of vision in just 6 weeks. No expensive medications, no impossible diets, just 3 simple foods anyone can find in the supermarket. By the time Maria reached me, she had already lost some of her peripheral vision. She could only see her grandchildren if they were right in front of her. I still remember the desperation in her voice when she asked, "Doctor, I'm going blind, aren't I?" 6 weeks later, she cried again, but this time with happiness. She was able to read her granddaughter's report card without needing a magnifying glass. Before I go on, I want to know, are you with me on this journey? Leave a 1 in the comments if you're ready to protect your vision, or a 0 if you still think this is just another health video. And tell me, where are you watching from? I read every comment personally. Now let's talk about the silent enemy that almost no one mentions. The big problem is that the damage diabetes causes to the eyes doesn't hurt. It comes on subtly. First, you feel like you need more light to read. Then, straight lines look slightly crooked. And when your vision starts to get blurry, it's already too late. About 60% of the optic nerve fibers have already been destroyed. And the scariest thing? They don't regenerate. I learned this from Robert, a 72-year-old engineer who came to see me after hearing from 3 doctors that his vision loss was just a consequence of age. His glucose was under control. His blood pressure was normal. But every morning he drank something that was slowly killing his optic nerve. I'll tell you what it was in a bit. The truth is harsh. Keeping your blood sugar high is like pouring acid into the tiny vessels that feed your eyes. They don't hurt. They don't bleed. They just die, one by one, until darkness slowly sets in. Think about it. Your optic nerve is made up of 1.2 million nerve fibers. You're born with them all, and you don't get replacements. In diabetes, these fibers die 3 times faster than normal. When symptoms appear, you have already lost between 400 and 500,000 of them. This isn't just damage, it's destruction. But there is hope. Your eyes have an incredible ability to defend themselves if you give them the right fuel. And no, this fuel is not in medicine bottles. He is in your fridge, in the right foods, in what you choose to put on your plate every day. The real battle for your vision happens inside your eyes. And today, I'm going to show you how to win it. Let me tell you what's going on inside your eyes right now. Every second, millions of free radicals, small, unstable molecules created by high blood sugar levels, attack the cells in your retina like tiny invisible missiles. The eyes try to defend themselves by producing their own antioxidants. But when diabetes is present, this battle is completely unequal. For every antioxidant, there are 10 enemies ready to attack. This is where food turns into medicine, and not in a poetic way, but literally. Certain nutrients have the power to incorporate into the cells of the eyes and act as 24-hour defense soldiers. But there is a secret. You must have the right nutrients, in the right combinations, and no right time. When one of these pieces is missing, the shield breaks, and your eyes are vulnerable. Now, let's go to the first hero of the story. Food number 1, the orange shield your eyes are crying out for. Forget everything you've heard about carrots. While most people only talk about vitamin A, the real protagonist is beta-carotene, and most importantly, the perfect companion, which enhances its effect. That's what transformed the life of James, a 69-year-old diabetic from Florida. After just 3 weeks of including this simple combination in his diet, his eye pressure dropped. Points. The ophthalmologist was surprised. "Whatever you're doing, keep doing it," she said. But James's story goes beyond the numbers. He was a pilot for 30 years. Flying was what gave his life meaning. When diabetes prevented him from renewing his medical certificate, he was devastated. "Doctor," he told me, I just want to see my grandson graduate from flight school. And that's where we started. What happens is that excess sugar in the blood creates something called oxidative stress, a kind of rust that corrodes the vessels that nourish your eyes. Beta-carotene acts as a protective lubricant, neutralizing this rust, but only works when combined with the right partner. And here's the secret. Carrots alone are not enough. When joined toward peppers, the story changes completely. Bell peppers are rich in lutein and vitamin C, forming a natural barrier around the optic nerve. Research shows that this combination reduces the risk of glaucoma in 25% among diabetics. Cannot reduce, really reduces. Now, the detail that nobody tells you. Raw carrots are practically no help. When raw, the body absorbs only 3% beta-carotene. But if you cook them lightly with a teaspoon of olive oil, absorption jumps to 39%. It is an improvement of more than 1,000% just with heat and fat. This happens because beta-carotene is trapped inside plant cells, protected by cellulose walls that the body cannot break down on its own. The heat softens these walls, and the fat helps release and absorb the nutrient. Without these two factors, you're just eating expensive and nearly useless carrots. The recipe is simple. 1 medium carrot and half a red bell pepper, lightly sautéed in olive oil 3 times a week. Add a pinch of black pepper, which increases absorption by 20%, and finish with saffron, a powerful natural anti-inflammatory. This was the same combination that transformed the vision of Maria, and it can transform yours too. Now get ready, because the next food is even more surprising. The second food, the green miracle that rebuilds the retina. And no, this is not a metaphor. There is a vegetable that literally builds up inside your eyeball, forming a protective layer against oxidative damage. Now, imagine something fascinating happening inside you. Certain nutrients travel through the bloodstream, cross the eye's barriers, and settle exactly where they're needed most, like little guardians positioned to protect what's most precious to you, your vision. That's what beta-lutein and zeaxanthin, 2 powerful antioxidants found in spinach and kale. They focus on stain, the central part of the retina, the true command center of vision. It's thanks to it that you can read, recognize faces, and see colors clearly. But in diabetics, this region is under constant attack. Let me tell you about Carol, a 74-year-old artist who believed she had lost her gift. After 15 years of living with diabetes, she could no longer tell the difference between navy blue and black, or cream and white. His world was fading into shades of gray. "Doctor, I feel like I'm going colorblind," she told me, her eyes welling up. We started what I call green protocol. 6 weeks later, Carol called me crying again, but this time with joy. I could see purple again. Real purple, not that dull brown from before. 3 months later, she opened her first art exhibition in 5 years. Each painting seemed to pulse with vivid colors, and it's not just her case. A study with 5,000 diabetics showed that those who consumed more green leafy vegetables had 40% less vision loss in a decade. No 4%, 40. This difference may be what separates those who still read stories to their grandchildren from those who already live in complete darkness. But there is one mistake that almost everyone makes. Eat raw spinach, thinking you're being healthy. Serious error. The heat is what releases lutein from cell walls, making it 300% more bioavailable. And without some fat, your body simply can't absorb that nutrient. Here's the right way. Sauté a cup of spinach or kale with olive oil and garlic. Garlic, in addition to adding flavor, contains sulfur compounds that increase the absorption of lutein. Finish with a touch of fresh lemon. The acid helps preserve antioxidants. Do this 4 times a week, preferably in Thito have lunch. Why? Because it's at night that your eyes go into repair mode. During sleep, they rebuild tissues and restore damaged cells. By eating lutein-rich vegetables at the end of the day, you ensure your eyes have the right building materials to work with during this process. A Dorothy from Arizona is proof of this. She had already lost 30% of her peripheral vision when she started the protocol. Months later, visual field testing showed real improvement, something the doctor himself said was impossible. But it's not impossible. Only no one told her the secret. And now we come to the food number 3, the citrus defense system. The blood vessels in your eyes are like delicate little hoses. In diabetes, they become fragile, crack, and begin to leak. But there is a nutrient that can restore your strength and elasticity, and it's called vitamin C. The problem? You would need to eat 47 oranges a day to achieve the ideal amount, unless you know the right trick. Vitamin C does much more than prevent colds. In the eyes, she is the cement that keeps the vases firm, helping to support eye pressure and protect the optic nerve. Studies show that diabetics with low vitamin C levels have 3 times more risk to develop glaucoma. And here's a shocking fact. The fluid inside the eyes, called aqueous humor, contains 50 times more vitamin C than blood. This shows how much the body prioritizes this nutrient to protect vision. He knows what he's doing. Without vitamin C, your eyes simply can't handle it. But there is one detail that almost no one mentions. Not all sources of vitamin C are suitable for diabetics. Now we need to talk about something that many people believe is healthy, but is actually sabotaging your eye health: the orange juice. It seems harmless, but 1 cup contains about 27 grams of sugar, a real bomb for the body. As whole oranges are a slightly better option, as they contain fiber that reduces the impact, but they can still be problematic for those living with diabetes. The real heroine of this story is guava. A single guava provides 400% of your daily vitamin C requirement, with half the sugar of an orange. In addition, it contains lycopene, a powerful antioxidant that protects the retina from damage caused by high blood glucose. Research shows that people who regularly consume guava have 35% more night vision preservation over the years. What if I can't find fresh guava? The second best ally is grapefruit, but only half, and with the white part, the one that many people peel and throw away. It is precisely in this bitter part that the hesperidina, a compound that strengthens the capillary wall oculars. Yes, the taste is bitter, but the sight is worth every spoonful. Take the case of Patricia, 71 years old. She had been diagnosed with diabetic retinopathy, and the retinal images showed small hemorrhages, broken vessels, blood leaking where it shouldn't. Started to include half a grapefruit for breakfast and 2 servings of guava per week. 8 weeks later, new photos showed something unbelievable. The bleeding had stopped completely. Her doctor was at a loss for an explanation, but now you know why. And this is where the most shocking part. The real villain may be inside your own kitchen. That's what happened to the Robert, that same engineer I mentioned before. Despite having perfect glucose control, he lost 40% of vision in just 2 years. The reason? Something he drank every morning, believing it to be healthy. Diet sodas, carton juices, natural fruit drinks, and even that vitamin water labeled fitness. They all have one thing in common: a destructive ingredient that no one comments on. Could it be high fructose corn syrup or artificial sweeteners? Both trick the brain, but poison the eyes. The most dangerous thing is what happens inside the body. A fructose is metabolized in a completely different way than glucose. While glucose is used as energy by all cells, fructose goes straight to the liver, where it turns into fat. These deposits end up obstructing the tiny vessels that feed the optic nerve, which is the same as dumping thick syrup in the fuel tank of your car. What about the beverage industry? She knows that. Spend more than $4.6 billion a year to sell these drinks as healthy alternatives. It funds research that conveniently ignores the effects on vision. They don't want you to know the truth. But the numbers speak for themselves. A Harvard study with 78,000 people discovered that those who drank just 1 sugary drink a day presented 47% more eye pressure. In diabetics, this number good. And the worst, every sip increases the pressure inside the eyes by up to 4 hours straight. Now imagine the impact of doing this every day. And if you think artificial sweeteners are the solution, think again. Aspartame, sucralose e acesulfame alter the delicate balance of the eye's drainage system, causing internal fluid to build up. The result is a gradual increase in pressure that squeezes the optic nerve, silently, like a vice that slowly tightens. You don't feel pain. There is no warning. But fiber by fiber, the nerve begins to die. And when that happens, there is no going back. The case of Mark is a perfect example of how even the most innocent choices can deceive us. He drank unsweetened iced tea all day, believing it was a healthy option. But when we measure your eye pressure, the result was alarming. Such high, a dangerous level. We eliminated all processed drinks and replaced them with pure water and natural infusions. 6 weeks later, his blood pressure dropped to 18, within the normal range. And, along with it, your vision returned. A beverage industry spends billions to convince you that these products are harmless. But the truth is hard. They are reliquid blindness in a bottle. Every diabetic patient I've helped regain their sight has had one thing in common: completely stopped drinking this poison disguised as health. And that's how my 7-day plan to save your vision. Let me show you how it started, with the story of Barbara. Barbara had 68 years old and had been living with diabetes for more than 12 years old. She began to see halos around lights, a clear sign of increased eye pressure. The ophthalmologist wanted to start eye drops immediately, but I just asked 7 days to try something different. Days 1 to 3, we eliminated all sugary drinks. No soft drinks, juices, flavored waters, or artificial sweeteners. Just water, unsweetened green tea, and black coffee. In the first few days, she felt exhausted, with headaches, symptoms of withdrawal from sweeteners, proof of how addictive these chemicals are. But then the power came back, and with a vengeance. Days 4 and 5, we added the combination of carrot and red bell pepper, cooked in olive oil and seasoned with saffron. That's when something magical happened. Barbara looked up at the sky and saw the stars again. Real stars, which she hadn't seen in years. Days 6 and 7, we include spinach for dinner and guava for breakfast. On the 7th day, she called me in tears. "Doctor, I can see clearly again." 3 weeks later, the eye pressure it fell to 19. The ophthalmologist canceled the eye drops. That was 10 years ago, and to this day, Barbara sends me photos of her travels, of the places she can now see in every detail. And it's not just luck, it is science. A study carried out in 2023 by Johns Hopkins University followed 1,200 diabetics for 5 years. Those who included the 3 food combinations. What teaching did they have? 67% less optic nerve damage. About that, 78% of those who followed only conventional advice presented progressive loss of vision. Think about it. 8 out of 10 diabetics who did everything right still lost their vision. You 22% who maintained eye health, they happen to be eating the same protective foods we've been talking about here. This is not alternative medicine. It is peer-reviewed science, published in medical journals. But most doctors don't talk about it, and the reason is simple. Throughout their medical training, nutrition is studied for only 19 hours. I know, because I taught at one of those universities. And so that you don't make the same mistakes, here are the 5 mistakes that most sabotage the progress of your eyes. Mistake number 1, eating the right foods at the wrong time. That moment is crucial. Carrots and peppers should be in the lunch, when your eyes need energy. Green vegetables in to have lunch, when the repair occurs. And citrus fruits by morning, to start the day with active protection. Mistake number 2, thinking more is better. Excess vitamin A, for example, can increase eye pressure. Follow the ideal quantities. 1 carrot, quite red bell pepper, 1 cup of green leaves and 1 portion of citrus fruit. Mistake number 3, giving up too soon. Your eyes didn't deteriorate overnight, and they won't heal overnight either. Give them at least 30 days. Most people notice changes within 2 or 3 weeks, but lasting protection is built over time. Mistake number 4, ignoring the preparation method. Raw vegetables may seem healthy in the fridge, but if your body can't absorb their nutrients, they're not doing you any good. The secret is in the heat, in the right fats, and in the right combinations. This is what turns simple foods into real medicines. Mistake number 5, believing that supplements replace real food. No pill can replicate the complexity of whole foods. In nature, each nutrient comes wrapped in cofactors and supporting compounds, created precisely to work together. Separated, they lose much of their power. The wisdom of the human body understands this harmony and tries to remind you of it every day. Now, take a deep breath and think. Tomorrow is in your hands. Right now, you are faced with a choice. Path 1. Continue as before, hoping your eyes can hold out a little longer, playing a dangerous Russian roulette with your vision. Path 2. To do 3 simple changes, which cost less than your daily coffee, and can literally save your vision. A Susan, for example, chose the second path. At 73, after her sister lost her sight due to diabetic retinopathy, she decided to make a change. Today, at 76, reads without glasses and drives safely at night. Same genetics, same disease, but different choices. Your eyes depend on your decisions. Each meal can feed the disease or fight it. Each sip can protect your vision or slowly destroy it. And this choice happens 3 times a day, every day, for the rest of your life. Your action plan begin now. Tonight, go to your kitchen and get rid of all sugary drinks. It doesn't matter if they say light, natural, or 0 calories. If it's not water, tea, or black coffee, outside. Take a picture of your trash can full of these poisons and share it. Show that you are serious about your vision. Tomorrow, go shopping. Add to basket carrots, red peppers, spinach, and guavas, or towering, if you prefer. For less than $15, you will be taking the first step towards protecting your eyes. That's less than the cost of a doctor's visit, and the return is incalculable. In 1 week, you will notice the colors more vivid. In 2, you will feel that the reading is clearer. In a month, your eye pressure will begin to drop. And in 1 year, you may have added decades to your vision. All this with simple, affordable foods found in any supermarket. But there is one condition. You need to act. Why knowledge without action changes nothing. And your future self, the one who still wants to see his grandchildren graduate, watch the sunset, and dive into every page of a good book, this you is asking you, almost begging, to start today. Change starts with a plate. Healing begins with a choice.